Hey guys, and welcome to a video I decided to make. I've been thinking about this for a while, but I just haven't really known how to phrase what I'm thinking really, or was worried what the reaction would be to it. And this is a discussion about my channel and Warframe Burnout. This question is one that I get asked a lot, and that is whether I'm burnt out on Warframe. And whether I even enjoy the game anymore, because from the outside it looks like the same old weapon and all current reviews, combined with a bit of other game footage every now and again. But this honestly couldn't be further from the truth, and I just wanted to quickly talk about that. I love the gameplay of Warframe. I enjoy the game when it's at its quickest and its craziest, when there's 500 enemies coming at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That is incredible fun, and one of the reasons I got into Warframe in the first place. To be honest, that gameplay has never really changed. What has changed is the scope of the game, and what we've come to, which effectively is mid-level content as endgame content. Now, I know this is going to take a bit of explaining, but endgame content is of course what you make of it. Now, I'm not going to throw the veteran tag around because realistically it's impossible to put your finger on what that even means. But right now, apart from the sorties, which is another topic altogether, I'll talk about that a little bit later on, there's nothing really that high level on the star chart. Instead of well-balanced, well-thought-out enemies, we get the Void with the stupid, ridiculous, spiky damage buff that comes from T4, the original T4, meaning that stuff without defensive skills of any sort just get one shot all the time, especially if you walk around a corner and the shotgunner that's been tracking you through the wall is stood just the other side. But aside from that, there's nothing high level that is actually a challenge on the star map. Part of the scope of the entire star chart rework was that there would be stuff for more geared players to do on the new star map. Where did that go? It's not there. The highest levels we have is level 40 Grineer. It was said that there would be reasons for us to play on the different tile sets again, with content of varying levels for people to have a challenge on different tile sets. Where did that go? When was the last time you went to Earth and didn't just sleepwalk your way through the mission? Because, you know, the 5-former weapon you've got against a level 1 Grineer just a little bit too strong. From a content creator perspective, when was the last time you saw me record on something that wasn't high level against, you know, on a tile set like Ceres or Sedna? For God's sake, I had to run an hour's survival just to show how survivable he could be with a maxed out build. But the realistic thing is you don't even need to do that. Warframe does not reward you for doing anything challenging right now. I know the sorties argument will come up, and I'm going to talk about that now. Apart from getting footage occasionally, I don't run the sorties at all. Why? Because you always have to deal with that guy with an Ash bladestorming in a radiation hazard sortie wiping your entire team. Or you do it, and you get a weapon part for a weapon you had two of and maxed out originally 2 years ago. Seriously, apart from the endo, what is there that people really want in the sorties from a point of view of a player that's played for a while? That weapon part from a 3-year-old weapon that nobody uses. A single lens, when you can buy a greater one on the market for 40 plat. Since a greater lens needs 4 standard lenses, it takes 4 sortie rotations just to get the 4 standard lenses for a greater one. If you want to take and put a greater one on 3 different bits of gear, that's going to take you a year of sortie rotations. And in that time, you've got Neja, a frame that you literally can't give away for the parts for at this point, since it's been in literally every sortie rotation. It's just not rewarding for the most part, to be honest. And apart from the cause, there's nothing to keep an older player logging in dailies just to get the sorties done. Most simply do not bother. At this point, I would like to see a tick box that you could enable that would just disable everything again, except endo, at the cost of forfeiting the chance for a legendary core. I can tell you now, that would get me logging in again and running the, well, not just logging in, because I log in daily, but running the sorties again. It would ease the pain of Prime mods leveling, which is a massive barrier to anybody coming into the game right now, especially since I reckon we're going to get a new one in the coming weeks, plus we've got Prime Vigor coming up. The only real daily thing right now that's worth logging in for is the Syndicate missions, because getting all those augments, that can take quite a while to do if you want all of them, especially if you're not a high mastery rank. Plus stacking medallions for the next Prime can help avoid all the relic grinding as soon as the next Prime drops. I'm not even going to talk about raids. Law of standing on buttons isn't challenging at all. It's just crowd control your entire way through the whole thing while sleepwalking, and Jorda's verdict is so buggy, it's not even funny. But the thing, I mean, even on endless missions, they still don't reward you for your time invested. This is nothing new. Nothing has changed here, it's always been that way. People say since the void changes it's changed. It kind of hasn't, to be honest. Endless missions mean nothing. Past 20 minutes, 20 waves, 4 extractors. Sorry, but it just doesn't. In fact, it's actually better to quit out and go in again, because that way you get the end mission credits and then just go again. So you can actually get a bit of credits at the same time. In the old void, yes, you could save keys by going more than 20 minutes, but it's not like the chances are any different. The chance of a drop at 20 minutes is exactly the same as 2,000 minutes. It literally means nothing at all. You're not rewarding player skill, you're not rewarding player cohesion, and you're not making any synergy worthwhile. It's a mistake, and it doesn't reward you for maxing out your gear or your weapons. And since between updates, maxing out weapons and Warframes is most of what we've got to do, it's working against itself by not rewarding maxing things out or having content that needs maxed out gear. What incentive is there to actually do it in the first place? I think it's come to the time where we need scaling rewards. As the enemy level gets higher and you're longer into a mission, the rewards get better. Each rotation, you've got a common, uncommon and a rare thing in it. And it would be good to see a percentage increase for each rotation you complete, depending on mission type. So, say for example you're in a survival, you get to the third rotation a drop, which is at 25 minutes, you could get a 5% increased chance of uncommon, and 2.5% chance more of the rare. Then at 45 minutes, the fifth rotation a, 7.5% more of uncommon, 5% more of the rare. This way you can reward players going further into a mission, rewarding their maxed out builds and team synergy. But since Warframes are free to play, you can't make things ridiculously easy to get, because what is the incentive to buy stuff? Now, I know that sounds bad. DE do not work for free, and I think this might be a good compromise between the two, what the players want and what the devs need. But think about it this way, in terms of major content, it's been 10 months so far, nearly 11 since the second Dream, and people have got bored of waiting. Overwatch came out, Battlefield 1's about to come out, a whole bunch of things that people are playing rather than logging into Warframe and playing. The daily stuff, it's pretty much the same every single day. Always the same tile sets, the same game modes. It's the same thing day in, day out, with the exception of the sorties. It's all the same mid-level stuff that you can literally just sleepwalk through if you bother to max out your stuff. There's barely anything to keep people involved, bring them back logging in during slow times. Okay, we've had a couple of double XP weekends, a couple of alert-based things like the Darvo stuff this last week, that was good. But let's put it this way, the times where the community are most involved are during the events. It's been 4 months since the last event. It's been 4 months since the last tactical alert, and even that was a copy-paste of another tactical alert. Warframe has always tried to develop what story it has during the use of, through the use of tactical alerts and events and stuff like that. But when the community, that's when the community is the most active. And the lack of activities through the dry spells is what's causing these massive peaks and troughs that Warframe has. The peaks for new updates, and the troughs when people have completed all of that content. Events people, that brings people back to play again. Events bring people back to play again. I've never seen the community as active and as passionate during the Tubemen event. There were propaganda videos popping up from content creators, posts on the forums about which side to support, what people's reasons were for that. We don't have that now. Instead of the community getting passionate about events and stuff, we get constant threads on why XYZ weapon is terrible and needs a buff, or why nullifiers are the harbingers of doom. Events don't need to be on the scale of Tubemen, or even have insane weapon rewards like Wraiths or Vandals, but we need something in those quiet times to keep people interested, keep them logging in, since that is the way you keep people invested in your game. I love this game. My passion has not gone at all. As this video, hopefully you're seeing my passion in this video, but I am frustrated, and I'll openly admit that. I still enjoy the game. I love the gameplay. I still find it really fun, and my motivation to try and make content is certainly not gone. which is why I've been trying to work on different series ideas recently, something a little bit different. I'm still working on one actually right now, but I stopped to make this. I've rewritten stuff like this 4 times so far to try and get my point across in such a way that it shows I do still care about Warframe. I still want it to succeed, obviously. However, currently the way the updates and contents are dropping, it's causing older players to just simply stop playing, instead of keeping them hooked with regular things to do, since currently the dailies are not up to scratch and they're not enticing enough for people to log in daily and do it. And the weapon and augment videos, or the weapon and augment drops, sorry, they're just not keeping people interested anymore. It makes people drop the game and then just pick it up when the next major update comes and do all the new weapons and frames then, instead of logging in each week excited to see cool and new weapons. Naturally though, these are just my opinions. They don't represent the opinions of anyone other than myself. However, I would love to hear your opinions on what I've talked about in the video and what you do during the times where we don't actually have much content to deal with. Now, I know this video was pretty rambly, I'm sorry about that, but chuck a response in the comments below. I do read all of them, even if I don't respond to all of them. However, for those of you that are stuck around to the end of the video, there is a document below with 50 glyph codes, 1 per person please, and feel free to tweet some pictures to me. As always guys, many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.